Krunk crew coming through. What it do? What's up, guys? Hello, Krunk crew. Everybody else, anybody new? My name is Kyle Krunk. I'm your host with the Krunk Crew Debrief, episode 8. Believe it or not, coming your way right now. Am I right on that? Is it 8? It's 8, right? Oh no, I gotta double check. It's 8. I'm pretty sure we did 7. Let me check. So I don't lie. I don't want to start this off with a lie. Yeah, number 8. I do want to start this off with an apology, though. However, I'm sorry, guys. This is coming out. Today is January 14th, 2020. Today's a Tuesday, if you don't know. That's my apologies. I said these were going to be recorded on Sundays, coming out on Mondays. We're going to talk about that briefly, but I want to say I'm sorry about not having it out on time, and I want to issue a promise to you here and now on episode 8. Every episode throughout the rest of this year will be released on Monday. I'm not gonna have there's just no excuses. There's no excuses why it wasn't done this week. There's no excuses why it's not gonna get done in the future, and that's why it's gonna get done. So my promise to you, these are gonna come out on Mondays. Whether they get recorded on Sundays, Mondays, whatever, they're coming out on Mondays, and I'm not gonna fuck that up anymore. So that's my apologies to you guys. I'm sorry. Some of the reasons, and these aren't, again, I'm not throwing these as excuses. My fuck up, it's my bad. I'm not gonna mess that up anymore. Just the usual anxiety, stuff like that. And then yesterday, I kept telling myself I was gonna record it late at night, and then believe it or not, I'd actually get a little bit tired late at night. Every time that I would be like, I'll just record it in the morning or whatever. Then I'd go to lay down and sleep, and then I wouldn't be tired, and I wouldn't sleep. Then I'd have insomnia, and then I would get none of the things done. Not only did I not get the podcast recorded, but I didn't get sleep either. But and then you guys I've already talked a million times about having anxiety and stuff, so we're not going to talk about that. But something else is just procrastination in general. I don't know why, but I've always been such a huge procrastinator, and I don't know, there's just something about procrastinating that I don't know if it feels good to procrastinate, or if it feels good to have that control of procrastination, I'll just do it. I don't know what it is, but there's something that makes procrastination just way too easy for me, and way too much of an in my head. It's an option when it shouldn't be an option. A lot of people, they just don't give themselves that option to procrastinate, right? It's way too much of an option for me, and my whole life I've been able to do it and get away with it, and that's part of the problem is throughout school I could always either literally finish homework after it was handed to me and before I left for the day, or the next day when I came in for class, finishing it right before I turned it in. And I've always got away with that, and just procrastination has always worked for me. And then it didn't work for me in college, and then I went to the Marine Corps. You didn't have really a choice to procrastinate in the Marine Corps. And then I got out, and I guess I fell into some old bad habits of procrastination, and I'm gonna try to do better about that. I'm gonna try to do better. I'm gonna try. This whole year is about becoming a better me, not 2020 just because it's a new decade, any of that, but because it's my last year in my 20s. I'm going to be 30 by the end of this year. I want to round myself off a little bit better as a just individual, as a in my character, my physical, my mental, everything. I want to round off in a positive sense. I want to gain some stat attribution. If you're an RPG player in video games, you know what I'm talking about. I just want some +1s, +2s. I want to get some good stats, some stat gains. And I have a decent plan ahead of doing that. I already talked to you guys about starting jiu-jitsu. I already went up to the gym to start. The problem is, I'm not doing an expensive enough gym package where I get a free gi which if you don't know what a gi is, it's gi gi. A gi is the what you see martial arts wears the with the black belt, or if they have a black belt, and they usually have the top and the pants, and it's like a robe almost with it's you know what it is. You just might not know that it was called a gi. But the gi I ordered is 6 to 8 weeks out on fulfillment because they were so popular over the holidays, and I don't get one free with the package that I have. So I don't want to be I don't like being the like standout. I'll tell you guys the story time today. We'll talk about the Nina story, the famous Nina story that so many people have heard and made fun of me for, and that'll be a great example of not liking to stand out. But right now, I'll just talk about um, if I go to these jujitsu classes and I'm the only guy wearing sweatpants and shit, just looking like a goofball. I don't know. I don't like to have that one-off attention on me. It's just something weird about having that spotlight on. It's weird that I stream too because of this. It's just weird having that spot in like real life. I've done public speaking classes. I don't have too much of an issue with that, but there's just something weird about that exact moment when you know and you feel like all the eyes shift to you. Like if you're going up to do something and everybody's already looking at, like, say you're going up in the middle of the basketball court during a halftime show, and I've never done anything like this, but just people are already looking there, and say you came up and did something, they're already looking there. But it's that moment when like you're the guy over there in the corner, and then you feel like the heads turn and all the eyes like shift to you. It's that moment that gives me, it's just such, it's super super uncomfortable for me. So I try not to put myself in those positions. It's one of those reasons. It's one of the reasons I didn't do great in college, because what I was saying a minute ago with procrastination. In college you don't have anyone following you around making sure you go to class. So say I'd miss one class or whatever because you're an adult and you're supposed to go on your own. Um, say I'd missed one class, and um, the next class, all I'd be thinking about is when I walk in, I'm going to have that moment where people are looking at me, oh, he wasn't here last class. And the teachers are thinking that. And they're like, oh, turn in your homework. And I didn't do the homework either because I'm a lazy piece of shit. So it's just all those things combine in certain, all those things converge in my life, it's always leads to not good things. So I can do better, and I can avoid that by A, not procrastinating, B, just if I mess up on something, like I don't get a podcast or stream out or whatever the case may be, coming back right away, like I feel like I am right here recording this podcast, owning up to it, saying my bad, I'm going to try to do better going forward. But stop like running away from that feeling of having those eyes on you. Like I don't like having the feeling that people are looking at me like I failed them or I let them down, And I mean, nobody likes to let anybody down, That's why it's always like the joke, it's not really a joke, but you always hear in TV shows as a joke, or sitcoms or whatever it is, like the parents will always say, I'm not mad, I'm disappointed. Because it's true. A disappointment feels, sometimes you can handle people being mad at you for a few minutes, but when you feel like you've let someone down, like you can be mad at me and we can get over that. But when I feel like I've let you down, then maybe your like trust is shaken with me, and maybe there's a lot of other things that go on. So people don't like to disappoint, and that's I'm like anybody else in that sense, and just combine it with a couple other things that go on in my life, and it just combines into this jumble and this mess, and I need to do better about it. So I got a lot of things going on trying to improve my life. I got that jujitsu, so I'm gonna call them anyway. And even if I have to stick out and go with no gi, I'll figure it out. But we're gonna be starting those classes. We're starting, today's the actual official first stream of the structured schedule that I'm doing. I can actually read it off to you here as well. This new schedule I'm going to be doing, I'm going to do a set in stone consistent schedule where I do at least these hours, maybe more, but at least these hours. And I think hopefully for me, this is like the make it or break it. If I do this super consistent streaming and I can't stream another 2-3 years the way I have been, and just keep paycheck to paycheck kind of thing. I can't do that to myself or my wife or I can't do it. It's been financially kind of stressful. So a big thing about me this whole year.
Bye, have a great time.
I just accidentally pressed a stream deck key. Let's not talk about that. That was my knuckle. A big thing about this year of improvement in my life is just being honest with myself too. You know, you got to be honest with yourself even when it's the hardest to do. As much as I enjoy streaming and I love doing it, and I would love for that to be just what I do. Realistically, right now, it's not really helping support me and my family. Yeah, I mean, it all right. It helps, but it's a very very small percent, and it's not realistically stable. So I honestly had talked to my wife last year and told her that at the start of this year was when I need to start looking for a different job, and we'll just do something different, because I'm treating streaming like it's full time. Because of some of my circumstances, I've been able to do that, but I didn't. Unlike a lot of other people that are full time streamers, where maybe they earned and worked their way up to where they could be like, all right, I'm gonna do this stream full time now, and now I'm gonna stop the job. I had something happen in my life where the job wasn't there anymore, but I could get by still streaming. So I tried to do the full time streaming without any of the build up. I feel like I've spent about 2 years now trying to build up the stream in myself, and at this point, it's gonna be like, I'm not ever gonna, I think, quit or walk away completely from it, but I definitely can't continue to treat it like it's a full time thing if it's not supporting me the way a full time thing would. Even if that means I have to get a part time something else and do part time streaming, cool, I'll do that. I mean, I'll do that and I'll enjoy the fuck out of it. But this whole year, I'm just gonna say this a bunch of times, probably this episode. This whole year is just about improving me and myself in every way that I can, and I just really don't want to have any. I don't want to be in my 30s or my 40s or my 50s and be like, I should have done that when I was younger. I should have done that. I should have done. I don't want to. I don't want to be there. Um. So this schedule is going to be set in stone. I'm going to be hitting this schedule hard, consistent for as long as possible, and if this consistency along with everything else that I'm doing in my life doesn't take me to where I need to be, then maybe there's a possibility. We have to be real with each other. I'm not gonna go win the Olympics swimming. There's some things that will never be achievable for me in my life, and I have to come to terms with that. um this year is going to be really a huge deciding factor if um streaming is that thing, and it's really been something I haven't talked about much because I'm kind of scared, to be honest with you. um my wife, every time I've been like, I'm just gonna stop streaming now, I'll go get a job, she's been like, no, this is your dream, do it, whatever, this is your passion, I want to see you happy. You supported me when I was trying to go for my dream job, I want to support you now. And she's been an amazing rock, an amazing support structure the entire time I've streamed, in just keeping me from giving up on myself or my dreams. With that being said, in the most recent times though, when I talk to her and I say, hey, this, I might not be able to do this, I got to do something different to help the family out. And she says, all right, but this is your dream, I want you to be happy, what else would you want to do? And I sit there and think, can't really, be honest with you, I can't think of another career path at this time. Like, there's things that I'd like, it's just they wouldn't happen for whatever reason. Like, I've been in IT. I did IT professionally for about 10 years. I've got certs in IT, but I don't want to go back to IT. You get treated like shit in IT by people, and it's just, IT always diverges to the same thing. You end up doing other people's jobs, and you end up angry at the end of the day. And I think all my time spent in IT literally actually made me an angrier person overall. Like I don't like talking on the phone. I get super irritated on the phone very quickly and easily now. I don't like being on the phone in the first place. I'm bad about answering people back in messages and stuff because I just kind of, I don't know. I prefer face to face conversation as much as, like I said, that's weird for me being somebody that streams as much as I do. I like that. I like to be able to look at the person that I'm talking to. I'm not going to go around and video chat everybody all day, every day, you know? I like to, I'm really good, I feel like, in conscience, I would say. Maybe I'm not good, but I'm very conscious of body language that people have. Sorry, I sound nasally. Every time I start talking, it just, it happens because I don't have a septum, so I have to mute every once in a while and just help get that, but I've always been very conscious of body language, and you can ask my wife, my mom, my dad, anybody that's been, I'd say, close in my life in a more intimate fashion, such as like living together. You, any of them can tell you that I'll pick up on body language and movements and emotions that maybe you don't even realize yourself that you're doing, but I'm seeing it. It might be like subliminal or whatever. I'm seeing it and I'm picking up the signals that that's like, I'm very the adjectives, I guess I would say, because I'm very sensitive, conscious, and I would like to think good at that, at deciphering body language. And being, every time I had been in IT, like during the Marine Corps, all of the IT in the Marine Corps that I did, I loved, and all the IT I did before the Marine Corps, I loved when I was at the University of Kentucky and just um, in high school, and all the IT I had done prior to getting out of the Marine Corps had always been like face to face. Here's my problem, and I could talk with them. All right, here's what I'm gonna do for you, and it's just there's that connection, right? And then the IT job I got as soon as I got out of the Marine Corps was like a call center. The first position I was in, I supported 13 different companies. Um, my desk was considered, it was called the shared desk because we had shared all these shared accounts. A lot of the other people in the building would be like, they would only support Nestle or they would only support this company or that company. That'd be the only calls they'd be taking from. I supported 13 different companies. Some of them were like Marathon Oil, Blue Cross Blue Shield, um, Yum Yum Corporation, which is a lot of like food and stuff. KFC, Taco Bell, Yum Yum, or uh, did I say Yum? It's just Yum? I don't know. It's a food corporation that owns like Taco Bell, KFC, all these things, whatever. I supported them, and it was all over the phone, never face to face. Which I had done over the phone stuff, but at least in the Marine Corps, you do the over the phone IT, and then when shit hit the fan, and you'd be like, you really couldn't get it to them over the phone, you'd be like, hey, I'm just gonna come down to your office. I'll take a look at it. I'll be there in 5 minutes. Click. You go to wherever you need to go. You do it. You were an all in one stop and shop in the Marine Corps. You were IT. You took care of it. You know. Here, it was all over the phone. You would get calls such as, hey, it's snowing really bad. Do we have work tomorrow? I am the IT help desk, and I live in Kentucky. I don't know where you are and if you have a snow day. Just the worst things, and it made me an angrier person. Um, so I just don't like using phone communications. I don't like, I I'm trying to improve myself, and part of that is being aware of your faults. Um, so that's why I'm here very aware of this fault. That's one of the ones I've been very aware of for a long time. My patience is another one that I've been very aware of for a long time. Patience is probably my worst attribute for me as a person in general. I have the worst patience, and my impatience leads to anger or leads to this or that. So I'm hoping all these things I do, like jujitsu, getting healthier physically, um, I hope they all help. With the insomnia, I'm gonna start practicing this sleeping technique. It's Navy pilots use it. It's where you systematically pretty much shut down your body, and if you get really good at it and practice at it, there's reports of up to 96% of people being able to follow, or 96% of people improve better sleeping after this technique for a couple weeks or months. And it's hard to get the numbers because the Navy didn't release the studies, but pretty much what you do is, it's a 2-minute technique, is take deep breaths the whole time you start. Very first step is take one deep breath, right? That first deep breath triggers the whole process. Then you want to relax by section of your body from head to toes. You want to start relaxing the entire body. Now, they say for some people it helps that you tense up and then untense to know that you're relaxing, to know that you're not keeping any of it tense. I'm pretty good at I don't know. You can do that if you need the help to know, like, oh, maybe I'm tensing something up that I don't know. But you want to just focus on your head for about 10-15 seconds. Make sure everything in your face is relaxed. Your eyes, if you lay on your back, your eyes, you want them to kind of feel like they're sinking down in. Obviously, if you're a side sleeper like me, that's not going to happen. And then you go with like your shoulders and your back, the upper back, and you just make sure that's all relaxed. And then the whole time you're taking deep breaths, 2 to 3 deep breaths for every section of your body that you're relaxing. It's actually what I was hearing in the video that I was watching is, I believe something like your body has to drop 2 to 3 degrees internally before you actually fall asleep. So, these deep breaths are helping to relax you. They're helping oxygenate your blood flow. I don't know if that helps release heat. I know that one thing that they said was like hot showers are good for one reason. You take a hot shower, all your blood vessels go to the surface of your skin. That's why your skin gets flustered, because they're trying to be as close to the skin as possible to release heat because it's hot. You're like flustered. As soon as you get out of the shower, all those blood, they're all near the surface of the skin seal, so they're releasing all that heat off that you grabbed, and now your internal body temperature is going down, making you feel sleepy. I've always liked hot showers, so that's all I heard, and I was like, I don't need to hear the rest. I'll just keep taking hot showers for it, whatever. But then yeah, you keep relaxing down all the way down to your toes, and then once you finish relaxing your physical body, you start relaxing your mental. You stop trying to think about everything. They say if you need to, you can say don't think for 10 seconds. I'm trying to do like a duo thing here. This is what's kind of cool. I'll let you guys know how this works. I'm trying to do this thing where I'm doing this sleep technique, but I'm also trying to practice. I don't know if you guys know what lucid. I don't dream very often, but if I do dream, I want to try to lucid dream. Lucid dreaming is when you're in a dream, but you realize you're dreaming, so you have control of it. So I literally rarely dream, like maybe 10 dreams a year, and they're usually nightmares. It's just whatever. It is what it is. I just normally fall asleep, wake up the next morning. That's just how it's worked for me for a long time. Ever since I got out of the Marine Corps, I took some sleeping pills for a long time to help with the insomnia, and I don't dream anymore, man. So on the off chance that I dream, what I do, instead of saying don't think, I tell myself, this is a dream. This is a dream. Because if you've ever studied lucid dreaming techniques, one of the things you can do is constantly tell yourself, this is a dream, or I am asleep. That way, in your sleep or dream state, there's a higher chance of you saying or telling yourself, this is a dream, I am asleep. And then you can only, the biggest thing about lucid dreaming is the trigger of realizing it's a dream, and the second you can break that barrier, you gain control over it. You can go fly, do whatever. People report cool things with lucid dreams. So I'm doing 2 birds, 1 stone here. I'm relaxing my whole body, and instead of saying don't think to block out of all the other thoughts of life and bills and daily stuff, I say this is a dream. This is a dream. Hopefully It'll help me fall asleep faster. We'll see. I'm also gonna start reading before bed every night. I'm gonna start like half an hour to an hour. I got these books all for Christmas. If you're watching the video, I'm just showing them off. I'll just read the titles real quick. John Stryker Meyer, the author of Across the Fence and On the Ground, The Secret War in Vietnam. Both of these books, On the Ground and Across the Fence, are about his time in Vietnam during the Vietnam War and Cambodia, Laos, all the crazy things he did. And then this other book is called The Trident, The Forging and Reforging of a Navy SEAL Leader by Jason Redman. Really excited about this one. I'll just read the back of this one just so you guys can kind of know what these things are, military history type things. Decorated U.S. Navy SEAL Lieutenant Jason Redman was critically wounded in 2007 while leading a mission against a key Al-Qaeda commander. When his mobility and assault forces team was ambushed, he was struck by machine gun fire at point-blank range. During the intense recovery that followed, Redman gained national attention after posting a sign on his hospital door that went on to become a symbol for wounded warriors everywhere. In this inspiring account, he speaks candidly of his SEAL career and his extraordinary devotion of his wife and family, without whom he would not have survived. Vivid and emotionally resonant, The Trident traces the evolution of a modern warrior, husband, and father, a man who has come to embody the never say die spirit that defines America's elite fighting force. So, TLDR, this guy's a really big badass. After his wound in battle, it mentioned in the back that he became nationally noticed for the sign he put on his door. Let me see if I... Here, I'll try to read his door sign for you. That became famous. He didn't want people to feel bad for him. That's a big thing. So he put on his door, "Attention to all who enter here. If you are coming into this room with sorrow or to feel sorry for my wounds, go elsewhere. The wounds I received, I got in a job I love doing. He's got comments here. The wounds I received, I got in a job I love, doing it for people I love, supporting the freedom of a country I deeply love. I am incredibly tough and will make a full recovery. What is full? That is the absolute utmost physically my body has the ability to recover. Then I will push that about 20% further through sheer mental tenacity. This room you are about to enter is a room of fun, optimism, and intense rapid regrowth. If you are not prepared for that, go elsewhere." So pretty much, this dude got hit point blank with machine gun fire. Messed him up pretty good. Okay. And the last thing he wanted was sympathy. I listened to a podcast on Jocko Willink. He has a podcast called the Jocko Podcast, and he talked to Jason Redman. He reads excerpts out of this book, and it was good enough that I wanted to buy the book. And these journeys that these guys go through, especially guys that were military, that I can really relate to. I like to take them as reminders of things that I've done in the past and things that I can prove to myself. Things that tell me that I am a strong individual that can help me push through the hard times I know that are going to be ahead in my life, because we're all going to have hard times. Life's the hardest thing you ever do, and it will never get any easier for any reason. If you have money, if you have love, if you have whatever you think is the answer to life, it doesn't make life easier. Life is just as hard regardless. It all takes work all the time. I think one of the biggest things and one of the biggest signs of growing up is realizing that and telling yourself, this ain't ever gonna be this ain't ever gonna be easy, right? This ain't ever gonna be easy. But if I put in the work and the time and the devotion, the dedication into the things that matter, it will be rewarded slash rewarding, and it will be enjoyable and fulfilled, right? Um, so actually, with all that said, I want to go back to what I was saying earlier. I'm really bad about doing this. If I ever start to talk about something and then I break off, it's because, like I've told you guys a million times, I have a million mental paths going on. And sometimes I could be going down this main road and I just accidentally take the fork here, and now I'm going the same direction, but just an alternate detour. At one point, I was trying to tell you guys the schedule I was going to be doing more permanently for the streaming, that I want to be more consistent and stuff. You guys can find most of this info, or if you have any questions, you can come ask me on stream. But that's the point. I'll start with Saturday schedule specifically, because a lot of people that listen to this podcast have told me, hey, I'd like to talk about this or that. I agree with some of the things. I can relate to some of these things. Saturdays on my stream, I have intentionally set up the time to fit EU schedules and NA schedules, because I know I have people in both that listen to the podcast here. For you guys to come and talk to me, I'm going to be doing 1 to 3 hours every Saturday of just chatting to talk about whatever you want to talk about in a environment with supportive and helpful people. And if you're not comfortable doing that, you just want like a one-on-one conversation, we can try to work something out. I can't promise everybody that I can have, one-on-one Skype calls or whatever. Like I said, I'm really bad about responding because I get anxiety about. I'm really bad about messages and calls and stuff like that. So I'm not gonna make any promises that I will do that, but I am making the promises that during that stream time, we can definitely talk about whatever you want to. I'm sorry if maybe for some people they just want to do the one-on-one stuff. You can try, but Saturdays, 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. That means at noon Eastern until about 10 p.m. at night, I'm going to be streaming. From those first 1 to 3 hours, I'm going to be doing just chatting. And we'll talk about the podcast from that week or whatever. It doesn't always have to be about the podcast either. We're just going to be chatting, talk about whatever you want. But I thought that I could put that into my schedule as a great opportunity for people that do listen to this podcast and want to discuss some of the things we talk. I have really, really bad short-term memory. So I'm sorry I've noticed I've smacked my lips a lot this podcast. I'm sorry. But I have really bad short-term memory, so I don't know a third of the things I say during the podcast by the end of it. That's not to say that I don't mean things that I say, or I don't, put a little bit of thought into them. It's just to say that for me, this podcast, it's kind of like, I told you guys I have just an incredibly crazy storm of information going on in my head. This podcast for me is a way to help clear up some of that clutter and storm, and the things that maybe were harder to get out of there because I haven't talked about them, and to hopefully open up that avenue of discussion with other people that could be going through the same things. The reason I come back every week for this podcast, and I'll say this as long as it's true, is even just, one person telling me, hey, this stuff is, I can relate, and thanks, or just it helped me, or anything along those lines, as long as it's not a big like, fuck you, I'm gonna shit on your pillow before you go to bed. I mean, you can say that too, but the people telling me that it's helped them out, that's helped me. Helping you has helped me, because all this stuff is like always bouncing around my head. So to get it out, and not only to be able to get it out, but to be able to get it out and someone else be like, I can relate to that, it makes me feel a little bit less alone. Because I feel completely alone in the sense that, like, I don't know, I feel like I have a weird brain. I guess most people feel that way. Because we're all unique. Doing air quotes. You didn't hear the voice inflection, but I don't know. I feel like I got a really weird brain the way I think. So, yeah. I'm going to be reading these books. I'm going to be doing the schedule Saturday, 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. Sundays specifically, I'm dedicating to try to hang out with the EU crew. Just because their time schedule is weird. I'm going to have 4 a.m. to noon on Sundays. Mondays, I'm going to take that day off for the week. And then the rest of the normal week, Tuesday through Friday, that's all 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. So I'm really excited to be doing this schedule. It's going to be more structured life going forward. I'm going to be doing the jiu-jitsu. I'm going to be reading. I'm going to be doing these things. Knocking that down would have been horrible. I'm going to be doing these things to improve myself in my life. And I hope you're thinking about doing things to improve yourself in your life. And you shouldn't be stupid like me and wait for a reason like, oh, this is my last year in my 20s. Another thing I need to get better at, and I am going to sit here and try to advise you to try to do and avoid doing what I did. Don't wait for a catalyst for things. If there's something you want, if there's something that needs to be done, just do it. Nike, bro. Just do it. Do it. My procrastination always has a little bit of regret with it. I wish I was recording this podcast yesterday. As much as I'm happy with the things I'm saying now and the conversations I'm opening up with now, I'm always going to be happy with what I put out, But I wish I didn't procrastinate because I have that little bit of regret that I have that feeling like I talked about earlier that I've let you guys down. So just when there's things that need to be done, just do it. And I'm hoping that if I start Nike company in my brain, the anxiety that I have with starting things will lessen a lot more because I will just do it, So that's what I'm hoping. Also, going into the future, I want to hear from I want feedback from you guys. What do you guys want to hear about on this podcast? What do you guys want to talk about? I obviously would like at some point for this podcast to be able to evolve into a situation where I can have guests and we can talk about life or whatever. Obviously everything I do is heavily inspired by the podcasts that I've enjoyed, such as JRE, Backspace Nomads. If you guys have never heard of these dudes, Drunky Brian and Monica, Backspace Nomads. They don't currently record, but they should have a bunch for you guys to listen to on YouTube. They were doing a gaming podcast for a long time. Great stuff. If you guys know who a Drunky is, then you'll know just hearing him in a podcast form is pretty exciting idea in general. Go give that a listen. They might be a little bit harder to listen to past tense just because I believed a lot of times they were trying to stick with current events and stuff like that, which all podcasting forums do. So some of the stuff they might talk about might be super old news or super irrelevant now. Say it be a game release of something that came out, whenever it came out. That being said, I was always so surprised on the takes that you would hear. You'd hear Brian have this take, and you'd be like, "All right, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. It's a little bit off to the side. It's not that mainstream, but it's a pretty good take." And you'd be like, "That's And then Monica will hit you with some shit out of left field that you never thought that you would have to be thinking of. And you'll be like, what? And it makes sense too. And then you just hear them discuss it. It's really good. You guys should go give that a listen. Again, that was Backspace Nomads. Search it on YouTube. You should be able to find it. But yeah, I'm inspired by podcasts like that. And all those podcasts had guests. Those podcasts never were solo. So I'd like to eventually move into that. I can't even think if that'll be anytime soon, just because I don't have a second mic. I don't know how to do it all virtually, digitally. I don't know. I'd have to figure it out. But outside of that, I'd love to know the kind of things that you guys just want to hear more about and want to talk about. I do owe you guys a story time. So, in light of what I was talking about earlier, not liking to feel like all the eyes are shifting onto me, I'll tell you guys the Nina story. So, let me take a sip of this before this wrap it up. For about 16, 17 years, my parents made fun of me for this, and it actually got to me for a long time. But I learned to get over it. No, it wasn't that long. I'd say for about like 15 years, whatever. So, I go to my first day of T-ball, and I think this is my first team ever. I think I'm trying to think if I had played soccer before this. I think this might have been my first team thing ever as a kid, T-ball. We're in T-ball, and, we all, as a first day, we're out on the field, and the coach is just standing here, and he makes us all stand in a circle around. He's like, all right, well, what's up? My name's Coach whatever, and welcome to T-ball. I want to go around in a circle, and I want you to introduce yourselves, just say your name, and then we'll start practice. So, this is itchy, dang it. So, we're going around the circle, everyone's saying their name. Now, at the time, I think I had a friend in school. This might have been like, I don't know if T-ball's kindergarten era or around that. Whenever T-ball is, I had a friend in the class. Maybe she wasn't even a friend. Maybe she was just a cute girl. Her name was Nina. And whoever Nina was in my life at the time, whatever, I don't even remember, All I remember is there was a Nina girl in my life, whether she was cute, whatever it was, her name was in my head flying around. Well, we're going around the circle, right? And we got Leslie, and we got Timmy, and we got Johnny, and we got Billy, and we got Toby, and then we got, it's getting closer to me, and then like one or two kids before me, we got Kyle. Hi, I'm Kyle. Again, I'm a little kid. This is my first team sport, too. I'm used to being the only Kyle. I'm Kyle. So when he said, I'm Kyle, I've never been placed in this situation before. What do you mean you're Kyle? I'm Kyle. If he's Kyle, who the fuck am I? Because I thought I was Kyle. But he's Kyle? These are all the things that are going through my head. The next person goes and says their name, don't even freaking remember. Who cares? Now it's on me, and I'm still thinking through all these things, but I'm Kyle. What? My head's jumbled. And then all the eyes shifted to me, and I'm already freaking out, but I'm Kyle, and he can't be Kyle if I'm Kyle. And then the eyes shift to me, and then that adds another level to it, and I'm just, And what's your name? So, because I wanted to be different and there was already a Kyle, I felt like it was like, once you take jersey number 13's taken. You can't have two 13s, can't have two Kyles. So they're asking who I am. And I just said my name was Nina. And they all stared at me for a second. And then the coach started laughing. And I think I've pretty much blacked out all the rest of it after that. I know that my parents called me Nina for a long time. All the friends that know the story about this have called me Nina, at least once since then. Listen, I didn't know there was allowed to be two Kyles. What do you want from me, bro? I'm trying to be individual out here. That's why I got snake bite piercings when I don't know. It's funny. We do these things trying to be individuals, but everything's already been done before. You're already an individual. Nothing really that you can do to yourself is going to make you more individual than the fact of being you has already done. Like me just being me is already enough individuality that I don't need anything else. Nobody else is like me. Nothing I do about my physical appearance is going to make me more unique than me, you know? So you don't understand that as a kid. So I was Nina. I hope you enjoyed that story time. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I appreciate you guys so much for coming back every week. And again, I apologize for this one being late. Thank you guys so much for supporting me in any and everything that I do. And if you are just here new to the podcast, you can always find me over on twitch.tv/Kyle Krunk, KYLEKRUNK. That is what bore the Krunk Crew debrief. Was just having an awesome group of people around me when I streamed, and wanting to give more content to those people. So new schedule is officially started, set in stone. If I'm not live during those times when I told you, and if you don't remember them, you can always come to the stream and find them out there. I'll have pictures posted on the page, but kick me in the ass, because I'm going to be consistent, I'm going to be accountable, and I'm going to do better for you guys. I love you so much. Until next week, I hope you have a good one. This has been an awesome episode. Krunks out.